Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we have a very special upload. It's going to be a collaboration with Deathwish, another Raid Shadow Legends content creator. He's been doing YouTube raid content for a long time now. And yeah, we're going to be going over the factions. Each faction we're going to pick one epic champion and one rare champion each. And who we think is a sleeper or champions that we think are underlooked or not really used that very much. So yeah, let's get right into the video. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we have a special guest here. We have Deathwish. We're going to be going over the faction wars, all the factions for faction wars, and we're going to be each talking about one epic and one rare in each faction that we think is underrated and not used by many people or maybe underlooked by many people. And here, yeah, we have Deathwish here, someone that I've watched for a long time. He is awesome content creator, and he's been doing YouTube for a while now, and he's also very endgame. So you want to introduce yourself, Deathwish?
Thank you so much, Smiley. Okay, guys, I'm Deathwish, as he said it. I do mostly raid videos. I know guides, all that good stuff, but I do have the occasional like weird videos. So if you enjoy raid and check out my channel and you like it, I would love it if you subscribe. And it's a pleasure filming with Smiley because he's a great guy. We just did do a part 1 in my channel, which you can go and see there, and this is gonna be the part 2 in his channel.
Right, just as Deathwish said, this is going to be the part 2, and we'll drop all the links down below for you guys to check out to take you to his channel to watch the part 1. And yeah, so are you ready to do this?
I'm ready.
Okay, let's do it. Alright guys, just as we said, we're going to be going over each faction, starting from Orcs. We already went through Bannerlords to Skinwalkers on Deathwish's channel, so make sure to check out the part 1 for that. On my channel, we're going to be going over the Orcs all the way up to the Dwarves. And yeah, we're going to be going over each faction and going over the one epic each and one rare each, what we think is very underrated and not really used by many people, or maybe people don't really know about. So let's get right into it. Let's go from the Orcs then. Alright, so for the Orc faction, Deathwish, who is your first epic champion that you want to go with?
So for me, it's definitely, I'm gonna mispronounce this very hard, but Old Hermit Jork. That's a very weird name, a very weird looking dude. But man, he was the look at that face at the back. You have to look at it. You have to see the face at the back. yeah. What is this? What is this player? Like, I don't know. So anyways, even though he looks weird, this guy is actually amazing for faction wars. And I think my second to last faction left was Orcs, and he was the one that helped me finish it. This guy has like everything that you want. HP burn A1 is already, nice, but he has increased attack with turn meter boosting and the revive, which is, insane for faction wars. It's very important. He's gonna revive 2 people with perfect veil, 5 turn cooldown. This was just massive, obviously, to finishing the faction. And revives and boosts in general, supports in general are obviously gonna be the team here and the best one. So I definitely go with him. He's a very new champion. I'm gonna do a guide on him soon, but as we said, like, these champions can be bad. Like, this guy isn't amazing outside of it, maybe for very new players, but for faction wars, he's a chef kiss. So definitely the reason I finished it when I pulled him.
Yeah, I like that champion a lot. He reminds me a lot of Gorgrab, doesn't he? Like his kit. Very similar to
Gorgrab is way better. Like, he has just better stuff with everything. But yeah, he is like Gorgrab does have a way better revive.
Yeah, way better. But very similar with the turn boost and the increased attack, and then like
a lot of champions are like this. Like Arbiter is obviously the best one with this, but a lot of champions have this this interaction.
Yeah, definitely a great choice. Definitely a great choice. Yeah. So what about for the rares?
For my rare, I am gonna go with Wyvern Bane. I again butchered that probably, but she does have very cool stuff for epic. She does have decreased speed. It's the weak version, but it's on A1, it's fine. But she does have a chance to decrease target's turn meter on the A2, and even if it's not by a lot, it is very useful in bosses. And we also don't have any good rares here left, so it is a very good option. And the good thing about her is 100% HP burn on Fortune cooldown. So if you desperately need HP burn, this is actually great for that. It's gonna do well on the boss. And yeah, she's kind of a boss champion basically for the boss. All that she does is cool at the boss. And we, as I said, don't have way better options. She isn't incredible, but if you don't have better options, she's definitely one.
Yeah, definitely an interesting option. Definitely an interesting option. All right. So for mine, I would go with I'm gonna go with an interesting pick here. I'm gonna go with Shaman. This is someone that a lot of people that first start playing the game, I guess a lot of people use her as food to feed into their starter champion, and
Very well
yeah,
played.
she's actually pretty good for faction wars because she does have a revive, and revive is one of the strongest abilities for faction wars. Because it's really hard to keep everybody alive, and if you have a revive, it just gives you a second chance at it. So yeah, not only that, she also has a chance to remove a random buff from the target. I know it's like a low percent chance, but it is a decent ability here. And yeah, and also her aura is decent too. It increases all ally defense and faction crits by 23%. It's not a big increased defense, but it's still better than nothing. But she's definitely a solid champion, very underrated.
I definitely agree. I did use her in my faction wars. Revive is obviously very important. So just because of the revive, I actually used her at the point too. And her base speed isn't bad too. So her other stuff,
Absolutely.
not nothing good. But yeah, the revive is very important.
All right, so moving on. The rare I went with is going to be Veteran. Veteran is
Yes.
a very solid champion. He has an attack down on on his A1. Attack down on the A1 is just really strong against the boss to help mitigate the damage and keep your team alive and just help you sustain the fight. And also he has a attack all allies. It has a 50% chance of placing a block buffs debuff for 1 turn. This is a very strong ability, guys. This helps you stop the Valks from using their buff shields. It helps you stop doing the counterattack buffs on the Valks and the Martyrs. This is a really strong ability. It's not a 100% chance, but it's still better than nothing, and he's a very strong champion. He's solid. What do you think about him?
Definitely agree. Yeah, he was like only famous because he was one of the only 2 rares with big version of the Decrease attack. But I definitely think he's gonna be pretty useful in faction wars, especially with the bulk buffs.
All right, awesome.
So let's go to the next faction.
All right, going on to the Demon Spawn faction. So what epic do you want to go for here?
There are some very obvious choices like Ur and Umbro, but they're obviously way too known and way too good for this. But I'm actually gonna go with Padma. She was a very used epic before, and she was actually pretty insane. She still is really good. Like everything she has an AOE. She has a big version of decrease attack. Doesn't even have a percentage, or it does, but it's 100%. And it's all enemy, so this is insane if you crit with it. She also is based on defense and attack, which is a bit weird, but she just have a pretty big base defense, and it's the first base thing, so it will do more. But she does have a decreased accuracy, AOE, which isn't the best debuff, but it's still an AOE hit. With decreased accuracy, it could be helpful if you have some people with resistance. And her A3, it is actually a pretty solid like damage ability. It removes all buffs from the target and places them on this champion. That's a very unique ability, and I believe it hits pretty hard. So that's actually going to be very useful to fight a specific champion that has a lot of buffs on themselves, and you steal them, and the decrease attack is going to be very useful for the boss. And then if you have some resist stuff, the decrease accuracy is actually going to be useful.
Yeah, I like this pick. Anytime I see an A1 attack down, especially if it's a big attack down, that just like automatically, I really like that especially against the boss fights to help you sustain the fight. Yeah, this is a good pick.
Yeah.
I like it.
For my epic here, I'm gonna go with the new guy. This guy is actually insane for faction wars. It's Abysso, or what it was. It's Abysso. This guy, literally everything he has is amazing for this. AoE A1 already stuns it. Big chance to block buffs. That's insane. He does have an heal return cooldown that goes to what is this? It's 40% heal on everyone. Like that's amazing. And the A3 is increase defense and increase like quick versions, sure, but he's a rare and he also has the speed hour. Literally the perfect champion for faction wars for this. This guy's actually amazing for this.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised by this kit. Like, it's not like an amazing single thing, but he does like a little bit of everything. And the AoE attack, the AoE on the A1 is just incredible.
We did overlook him. Like for Astra 1, we want to do the fusion as fast as possible. Okay, this guy's full, but now looking deeper into him, he's actually insane for this. Yeah.
Yeah, this guy's really good. I like this pick. Very, very underrated champion for sure. All right, so for my pick, I'm gonna go with the for epic. I'm gonna go with Hellgazer. So she's not really. I'm going with her because I kind of forced myself to build her because I needed a damage dealer, but she's actually pretty strong. Like, she actually does a lot of damage. Like, her A1, you have a 30% chance of placing a decreased defense for 2 turns. It's a big decreased defense. It's not a big chance to do it, but it's still it's better than nothing. But she hits pretty hard. Her A2, she removes all debuffs from the champion and increases attack on the champion for 2 turns, and she goes again. So this will go to a 3-turn cooldown, but technically it's a 2-turn cooldown because she goes again. And this is her big ability right here. Attacks all enemies on each critical hit, fills its turn meter by 10%. So this attack actually hits pretty hard. I use her for my faction wars all the way, and I had no regrets. I had no regrets.
Yeah, she does hit very hard. This A3 actually smacks really hard. So if you need a damage dealer in this type of videos, you normally want to build Hellgazer, but if you don't have an option, she's actually great for the job. She deals damage.
Yeah, and she also has an ally attack for faction crypts by 27%, which is pretty nice.
Yeah.
Alright, so moving on. So for rares, I am gonna have to go with the Diabolist, and I guess she is somewhat known, but not really, because a lot of people just use her as food from the 12-3 farming. But she's actually really, really good. She has the her sleep on an A1. It's not a high percentage chance. It's a 20% chance and 25% if you go for the sniper mastery. But but it's still a decent A1. A chance to sleep. It's a decent CC. And her A2 attacks all enemies, places a 30% increased speed buff on all allies for 2 turns on a 3-turn cooldown. Speed increase is always also good, but what she's really known for is her A3. Fills the turn meter of all allies by 15% and decreases the turn meter of all enemies by 15%. It's a small version of Lysandra's ability. It's not the big version, but it's still really, really solid. Very, very underrated champion, and that's on a 4-turn cooldown.
Yeah, I used her too. She's actually amazing for this if you don't have better options. Doesn't matter, manipulation is obviously one of the best things there, and her base speed is insanely high for a farmable rare too.
Yeah, 110 for sure.
So she does do well. She's actually very useful there. I also use her.
The best thing about her is, again, she's so easy to book out because you can just farm a bunch of her from campaign
I even used two.
Yeah.
At a point, yeah.
Okay, so let's move on to the next faction then.
Yeah.
Okay, so for Dark Elves, which epic do you want to go with?
So Dark Elves, a lot of people, obviously we can choose, like, I love Cyber and stuff like this, but you know, she's too obvious. So I'm definitely gonna go with Crimson Helm. She's actually pretty insane. She does have decreased attack A1, first of all. Very, very high base defense. Her A2 is actually pretty insane. It's an all allies, increased defense, and revive on death on a 4-turn cooldown, which is actually amazing for this. And an A3 that is a 4 times random provoke with block damage on herself. That's actually some ridiculous stuff in there. And you know, Karara, was it faction crypts? Let me check it out. Yeah, it's dungeons, but her kit is actually amazing overall. Like, I don't know why people don't use her more. The only very bad thing about her is her speech is very slow, but big version decrease attack, revive on death, increase defense, provoke, block damage. What more is there to say? Huge base defense. Actually, very, very strong champion.
Yeah, very strong champion for sure. Again, attack down on A1 is really, really strong against the bosses particularly. And again, you can't go wrong with having revive on, like, just any kind of revive in faction wars. Reviving is just key for faction wars. It really helps you get through it and push through, and it gives you a second chance basically. But yeah, a solid option.
Definitely, if you want a 3-star stuff and get the rewards in Lydia, the revive is a must. You know.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So
for the rares, a lot of people actually don't know that Painkeeper is amazing in here. I've used like 2 and 3 of them sometimes in the faction. People just know her for unkillable. She actually has a huge heal. She has an AoE ability that actually heals all of your allies, and this ability was insane for me. It was so crucial. I had only damage dealers, and how I beat that faction is only because of Painkeepers and damage dealers. I just one-shot waves, reset, heal them, one-shot, and go like this. I didn't have a lot of sustain. I only had Painkeeper to sustain with the A2 and to refresh the cooldowns. So 2 Painkeepers were massive for me here.
yeah, she's an awesome champion. I also use Painkeeper to complete my faction wars, and yeah, like you said, she's a really, really good champion. Really good champion.
Yep.
All right. So I guess for me, I'm gonna be going with Kaiden Caden. I'm not sure how to say it, but yeah, he's really good for faction wars. He actually hits really hard. Like this guy is a smacker, but his kit is awesome. So attack all enemies has a 100% chance of placing a decreased attack on debuff for 2 turns. And yeah, decreased attack is just huge, especially if you can do it on the entire waves, and especially for the boss. It helps you sustain the fight, helps you mitigate the damage, and helps you just push through. And even on the A1, he has a chance to provoke an enemy. Provoke is also a really good CC ability, and of course for his A3 he has a revive ability. Once again, the theme of this our faction review right now is we like the champions that revive, because that gives you a second chance, and it also increases the defense on buff on them for 1 turn, but it's on a 4-turn cooldown and it's 2 allies, so really solid champion. I like this guy.
Yeah, he's a great new addition to the game, and I've seen this pattern with Kaiden, Old Hermit, and like Melga. We had so many new champions that specifically revived 2 people in different factions. I think PRM did that on purpose to help with faction war finishing, because we actually got a lot of new revivers for different factions, which is actually great because, for example, Old Hermit and Melga are both the reason I actually managed to finally finish these factions. So
Yeah,
that's a cool pattern we've seen.
even the Ursula.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ursula is insane. And
Yeah. Alright, so for the rares that I'm going to be going over, it's going to be the Mr. Cheese himself, the Paragon Man. This guy is so good because he places unkillable on himself or any champion on a 2-turn cooldown for 2 turns. So essentially you can keep someone unkillable for the entire run, because 2-turn on a 2-turn cooldown, just make him fast enough and he's going to be helping you cheese the faction wars, especially on 12-7, but everybody knows about that one. But yeah, this guy's really good.
he's the cheese master. Like, there is no one else. I still remember, the day when Nightmare campaign, the Nightmare campaign days where you needed Paragon to actually finish it. Now he's even used in Doom Tower cheeses and faction war cheeses. He's just the cheese man. He is.
Yeah. Alright, so for Night Revenant, who is your sleeper here?
There are a lot of obvious ones here, like the Miscreate is here. There are actually a lot of really good epics, and even Rector Drat, which is a newer one, but kinda everyone knows about this. But a champion that people actually forgot about is Doom Priest. A lot of people actually forget how amazing she is for this. She does have the speed aura, again, I'm a huge fan of that. But it's all about her passive, kind of. Her A2 is also an increased attack boost, which actually it seems very bad for a Titan cooldown only to increase the attack, but considering a lot of people use Skull Crown and Sinesha here, which I did too, it's actually pretty useful because they deal way more damage. But it's all about her passive. At the start of this champion's turn, she heals the allies and removes one random debuff from them, which is actually massive for me. A lot of the times they're just one debuff and she just removes them, heals them, and this passive actually makes her amazing for her.
Yeah, make her fast enough, maybe even in Relentless gear, like she just keeps going and just heals your entire team, cleanses your entire team. Definitely a solid champion. I like her a lot too.
Yeah.
Alright, so what about for the rares?
For my rare, there are quite a few like even options. Executioner obviously still isn't bad. Like this guy that is great for the combos, could be cool for the boss. But I'm actually gonna go probably with Arcanist. As we said, support is the team, and even if the abilities aren't insane, they are support abilities and they are useful. So Sleep on A1 could be very clutch. On the A2, you do put heal on all allies, and yeah, it is technically a bad ability, but for faction wars, it is pretty useful to heal yourself. And then increase stack and crit rate. Even though they're the lower versions, there are not a lot of better options in here for that. So any kind of support is actually gonna be pretty useful.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, there's not too many rares to pick from here that are like really faction wars viable, but she is definitely an interesting option for sure. Alright, so I guess for my pick for Epic, I'm gonna go kind of off course here because most of the champions I've been going with the theme have been support champions or people that can CC. This guy doesn't really do any of that. This guy is a smacker. This guy really hits hard, and especially against like the Valk waves, if you you aren't able to CC it enough, this guy smacks so hard, really hard. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, he's a damage dealer essentially.
Faceless, yeah, does hit very hard, and as you can see, even in his A3 books, there is a lot of damage books, and once even if you book this ability hits very hard.
Yeah.
It ignores everything too, which is great.
All right. So for my rares, so I decided to go with Daywalker. I think his kit is really interesting. So not his A1's not really that interesting, but his A2, he does have an ally protection on all allies for 2 turns on a 3-turn cooldown, places a block debuff on this champion for 2 turns, removes all debuffs from this champion, and also he has a passive, revives this champion with 30% HP and attacks all enemies after being killed. His hit cannot be critical. So I do like the ally protect, I do like how he can cleanse himself, and what I do really like is the revive ability. That's really interesting to me.
So yeah, even though it's the weak version of ally protection, it's still very useful, like compared to some other champions. So, and he does like remove everything from himself. If the bosses or stuff target him, he can revive himself, which is gonna be again some kind of revive that's gonna really help you to finish it.
Yeah. Alright, so before we go into our last faction, we're not going to be going over Shadowkin because this faction is brand new and we simply don't have enough experience with these champions yet. And yeah, and I'm sure they're going to release more champions before they release the faction war for this faction. So let's go into our doors.
And there literally isn't a faction war for them yet. So
right, exactly.
Yeah.
Alright, so for the Dwarf faction, what's your epic pick here that's a sleeper or, underrated?
So, yeah, final faction, Melga is gonna be way too obvious. Melga is insane. She does have the revive and the huge shield. And she did help me finish the whole thing, but again, she's too obvious if you don't know build her. But I'm gonna go with Irigar Sergeant. A lot of people forget about this champion. She does have an insane amount of support stuff. She does have an AoE decrease defense, A1 decrease defense. That is a solid chance for an epic A1 decrease defense. She does have an AoE decrease attack, and she's based on defense too. She's pretty tanky. And she does have ally protection, big version, with continuous heals on all allies, 3-turn cooldown. Actually an amazing support champion, not only for faction wars, but this is one of the champions that is actually amazing for progression in the game overall.
Yeah, and she also she's so good. She's so good. Like
Yeah.
like in any part of the game for clan boss or faction or just any part of the game, she has everything. Like she really does.
Definitely a really good champion.
Yeah, really good champion. All right, so what about for the rares?
For the rest, I am gonna go with, I don't even know his name. It's the 5th guy in the rares. I wanted to forget, yeah, Vir the outmage. You aren't gonna believe me. I built 3 of this guy, level 50 full gear. At the time, I was using Tormin and Tundra, and I realized a bit too late they can sold everything up until 21.
You built 3 of these guys?
I was like, what are you saying?
You built 3 of these guys, you said?
I built 3 of these guys, level 50, full gear. Don't ask me. I don't know, man. He seemed amazing, obviously for this he is, but I didn't need to do it. But you may do because he actually has amazing things. He does have a really good boost, which is gonna be filter matter by 50% and then heal everyone by 15% of champions max HP. You make him pretty tanky. It's on a 4-turn cooldown. He does have an AoE that can decrease the attack and also has a chance to and also places the weak version of the Decrease Spear. I wish it was the big one, but on targets under poison. And he does have poison on A1. It's pretty unreliable, and there aren't a lot of poisoners in dwarves. But maybe later, if you have a really good poisoner in dwarves, this ability is gonna become even better. But just because of the boost, the heals, AoE decrease attack, even like A1 poison, pretty decent base speed. This guy's actually great for this.
Yeah, this guy's an awesome support champion. I like him a lot.
I liked him so much I built 3 of them without even needing one. So
wow.
Yeah. solid champion. What are your picks?
All right, so my pick is gonna be, again, I'm gonna be going with a different pick. I've been going with a lot of support champions and a lot of CC, but again, for this one, I'm gonna go with another damage dealer. Gala is amazing.
Gala is great.
She smacks so hard. Attacks one enemy 2 times, ignores 30% of target's defense, and places a shield buff on the champion for 2 turns. The value of shield is equal to 20% of this damage inflicted. She is really strong, guys. Attacks one enemy, ignores 50% of target's defense when attacking under shield buff, heals the champion by 50% of the damage inflicted, and it places a shield buff on the champion equal to any surplus heal for 3 turns. And her A3 attacks one enemy 3 times, ignores each hit ignores 25% of the target's defense, grants an extra turn if this champion has full HP after using the skill. So like I said, she is a smacker, guys. You can throw in a relentless set. Yeah, you could throw in a relentless set, but for that last boss fight though, you're gonna be for this faction, you're gonna be running everybody with at least like 50,000 HP because the boss will ignore defense anyways. But yeah, she smacks really hard.
I agree. She's a very hard hitter, and if you actually need this, she's gonna do the job just fine. I've seen people very rarely, but in 3v3 arena, having her in one-shotting person after person. She's actually great for this.
Yeah, and she also has the ally attack in all battles by 25%, which is solid. All right, so for my rare pick, I'm gonna be going with Dolor, Lore Keeper. So this guy's kit is really interesting to me. He has pretty much like a little bit of everything as far as CC, but it's like a baby version. Attacks one enemy, has a 25% chance of placing a block cooldown skill for a debuff for 1 turn. It's not the best ability. It is gonna book to a 45%, 50% if you master him, and it's a decent A1. His A2 also has a stun, which is also really good for, you know, CC in faction war is key. And also as for his A3, on a 4-turn cooldown, he has places 15% continuous heal on all allies for 2 turns. Also places a block debuff on the target ally for 1 turn if they have less than 100% HP. So this guy is pretty interesting to me. His ally aura is not the best, it's very weak, but it's better than nothing. And yeah, I find this guy's kit really interesting. I see him being very helpful for faction wars.
Yeah, he has everything like that you want. He has the buffs, basically just again the team being supportive and having CC and utility is always gonna be key to faction wars.
Yeah. So that really that pretty much covers the faction wars here. Like we said, we can't really go over Shadowkin yet because simply not enough experience with this faction because it's brand new.
And the faction doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, guys, so that pretty much covers the rest of this faction. And so Deathwish, is there anything else you want to add before we finish this video?
Not really, man. Besides, I really enjoyed filming with you. These videos were a blast. We did again part 1 in my channel, which if you're looking at this one right now, you can go and check it out there. And yeah, I'm just thankful we did this collab. It was a great experience, and yeah.
Yeah, so again, guys, we this is a part 2 for this 2-part series that we're doing for covering the faction wars, covering the underrated champions, the champions that are I guess people are looking over or not really looking at. But yeah, and the part 1 is going to be on Deathwish's website or his YouTube channel, and I'm going to make sure to link that down below for you guys to check out. So yeah. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed this collaboration with Deathwish. It was a really fun experience for me, and I hope it was for him too. Yeah, he's an awesome guy, very genuine, honest, laid back, chill, and just easy to talk to. So make sure to show him your love and support as well, everybody. And another reminder, I am streaming almost every day in the evening Eastern Standard Time, and I hope to see you all there. And if you enjoyed the upload, please don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment, hit that like button, and I'll see you all in the next video.